well, the most complicated role was, sorry, it's just, you want Lloyd Kaufman up front. Again, but, the spirit of Lemmy in there. You're welcome. Oh, thank you.
My, oh my. Round of applause, man.
And look,
beautiful. You got an audience.
Yeah, look, the film commissioner. New York State film commissioner back there. And
oh, beautiful.
Producer of hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm.
Dear Lord. They're not
John
going to.
Brennan and Justin Martell, of course.
Awesome. Awesome. Man, oh man. Thank you so much for being on, Lloyd. What an honor.
Well, hey, I was here in super duper Troma COVID, what do you call it, bunker.
Yeah.
So, found
getting holed up, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Not only I have hold up and a hole, both. And I was digging around the forest here. And I came across this thing buried. Looks like something, a treasure here. I don't know what this is.
Let's see.
Oh my! Look at this.
What do we got?
Hot news.
Oh my Lord!
Lloyd Kaufman, Jordan Paley, and my former assistant, Regina Katz. And we're going to try to make it into a movie. It's a very good book. Publisher, it's Simon Schuster, somebody like that. So,
man, awesome.
What wisdom would you like from a 75-year-old depressed alcoholic and pothead?
Okay. I just gotta let you know it's cut. The video's cutting out a little bit. So if it seems like I'm not really catching what you're saying, it's cutting in and out a little bit.
Believe me, I have nothing to say that you need to catch. So, a sad old man, a sad clown, trying to hold on.
Oh my God!
And a beautiful wife. Luckily,
dear Lord.
Beautiful trophy wife, and she's wearing our important T-shirt. Family Explore Outdoors.
That is amazing.
And holy cow, what's going on over here?
Look at that. Wow, you got, man, Toxie joins us too?
Incredible. This is the Troma COVID bunker with the Toxie back there.
I can't believe it. What an honor to have Toxie stop by.
Oh, I tell you, when the commissioner's here, it all starts happening. Thank you, Mike Gallo. You have a great name. When I was younger, I drank a lot of your wine. And they now they fancy it.
Oh my God, that is beautiful.
Mike Manischewitz?
Yes, Mike Manischewitz, indeed. Anyway, when we were younger, we used to drink Gallo because it was cheap. Now they've kind of gone upscale. So.
Oh man, yeah.
No more.
You got to watch that. Yeah, it's gonna put a pinch. Yeah.
Exactly. Capitalizer has replaced it.
Well, let me say, Lloyd, first of all, thank you so much for taking the time. Here on Growing on You Live, basically, we have a couple of icebreaker questions at first. The rest of the interview is going to be about you and your craft. And then I have one finale question that I wrote just for you. And, I just appreciate your time, man. Thank you so much. What an honor.
Thank you, Michael.
And the introduction with the clarinet, dear Lord, I don't think I've ever heard that song played better.
Well, thank you. And, as a patriotic citizen,
Uh-huh.
practice very hard for you, Mike.
I,
Practice all
I,
day. I still made a mistake. Very bad.
That's fine. I wish that I was trying to wave a flag, but it kind of looked like I was just an idiot waving my hand, so I stopped.
You didn't mute me or anything, was it?
Right. Not a problem. All right, so let me ask you. To start things off, you being a New Yorker, hit me with a couple of local spots that, if I were traveling through, you would say are must, go-tos for local eateries.
Well, I'm a bourgeois old person, so
Exactly. That's why I'm asking.
you go down to the Whitney Museum and
Okay.
see great art. You go to the Troma building, of course, in Long Island City. We get a lot of people there during the summer who, usually younger people, who see the Statue of Liberty and the Empire State Building, and then they come to the Troma building, and usually they bring in their parents with them, and the parents are usually rather puzzled by what.
Right.
We thought the Manson family was gone, but they live.
Oh my God. What about local restaurants? What are some of your favorites?
Well, we live in New York City,
Hmm.
and because we're senior citizens, if we go to sort of one of those restaurants that the bullshit guy with the hair talks about, uh, those kind of people, or the guy,
Yeah.
we get treated very poorly because they don't, we're ugly and old. Well, not my wife, but I am.
Yeah. Okay.
She would get the best table, but so we tend to go to the one or two places. One of them is called Elio's, where my wife, the commissioner, introduced Terry Jones. It was a historical evening. Terry Jones had never met Woody Allen, and they both were huge admirers of each other. And my wife introduced Terry Jones, who is a very good friend of ours, to the Woodman, who was sitting at the table next to ours. And because the commissioner had worked with the Woodman, they all got along great. It was very historic. So Elio's, very good northern Italian food, and
Okay.
just don't order. Do not order the what was it? It was a $300. My wife ordered something with truffles, in season fresh truffles, and she kept telling them keep scraping more and more, and which they gladly did until the bill arrived when I had my life.
You're like, honey, get this out of here.
Ilios is a good place. It's very jolly. The people who own it are wonderful, and food is very good. And it's a bit pricey, so we don't go there. We go when we go
Special
out.
occasion.
Well, not even just when we go out. We don't go out that much.
Right. Okay.
The other place we like which is reasonably polite to us, is the writing room. The writing room is in the spot that Elaine's, the very famous Elaine's, which is in a number of Woody Allen movies and a number of other
Sure.
movies. And it was a watering hole for the more, how do you say, mainstream journalists and movie star or TV stars. The news people would come in after the news at night, and since we live nearby, a big fat woman owned it, whose name was Kaufman. Elaine loved my wife. She said that I made porno, which wasn't very nice. But the writing room, which has replaced Elaine's, very good food, very very good.
Okay. All right. So, to
Candy
kick.
corn, they don't have candy corn. It's very disappointing.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So to start things off, let me ask you, where did your interest in horror come from? Where was the origin? Where did it all start for you?
Well, I think it started in July 13th, 1974, when person, no, I'm kidding. I was never a big horror. I'm more interested in comedy and satire. But when
Okay.
Squeeze Waitress, Stuck on You, and The First Turn On, which were all making
Mhm.
pretty good money, we had discovered the Porky's demographic, combining sex and raunchy material with slapstick and satire. And it worked out great until the Hollywood studios started doing what we were doing, except they were, as always, very unfair. They were using good scripts and good acting. So we had to move on to something else, which we thought, because my partner, Michael Hers, read,
Mhm.
we don't read them anymore, but we used to read Hollywood Reporter and the other one. And they had an article about horror films are no longer commercial.
Okay.
And Michael Hers said, well, if that's the situation, then we better get involved. Because whatever the experts say, especially if they're with published variety reporters or dead sucking, running dogs of giant dramas, we'll do the opposite because we're always. I think let's see an example of
The audio keeps cutting in and out.
the lucky. The lucky.
Wasn't up. That was very funny though. Okay, there
Hear
we
any
go.
better now?
There we go.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we're live now on the Pornhub.com. So,
Oh my God. All right, let me ask you. So, when I was younger and I first saw the Toxic Avenger, the scene with the kid getting run over was just, it was a scene that absolutely, was ingrained in my brain forever, just scarred for the rest of my life. What are some scenes, in your days of watching movies that, ever since you saw it, were just like, wow, you just can't forget?
I think Chaplin, Charlie Chaplin eating the shoelaces and the thing up north.
The mother deer being killed in
Yes, the mother deer. My wife reminds me.
You talk about it all the time.
I was in the middle of the night and she has to cuddle with me because of Bambi, which I saw. I think it was my first movie. Which
Okay.
the movie wasn't so bad, but I saw it with my mother, and that was really horrifying. And
It
if you see
is.
Mother's Day by Charles Kaufman, my brother, you will
Mm-hmm.
see our mother and the two brothers, sort of a loose interpretation, but somewhat
Okay.
accurate. So
Okay.
scenes like Buster Keaton, Seven Chances with the giant boulders chasing him down the hill. A lot of Chaplin, obviously. Modern
Sure.
Times. You can't forget the last shot in City Lights.
Okay.
So that's the kind of stuff that hits me hard.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, and that's the thing too is like I enjoy hearing your personal story or whenever I'm interviewing somebody I like to hear I don't want to hear anything that's new or current or what your love might be that might be popular. I like hearing what you're saying.
This guy on my shirt here,
Oh shit.
Biggie, I think he and the Tupac certainly opened my eyes to a lot of the issues that you have going. They were geniuses.
Sure.
But I think they opened people like me, bourgeois, white bread privilege people. Uh, can you say white bread privilege without getting into trouble? I guess so. Or whole
Oh
wheat
well.
bread, maybe whole wheat privilege. But in any event,
Yeah.
Biggie and Tupac, I think, changed my life a little back in the day because they were real philosophers and they were trying to do good. And
Sure.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
love Tarantino's movies. I think the best one I've seen in a long time. And he is a big Troma fan, no question about it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure.
He hung out with us a few times at Cannes Film Festival. Proudly wore our T-shirt, the Troma T-shirt, to his press conference, at
Hmm.
least once. So he took a lot. I think he took a lot from Troma. And now he's influencing me. I think And there are others like who was it? Oh yeah, Takashi Miike, the guy who did all
Oh
those
yeah.
Visitor Q. He made a movie called Happiness of the Katakurids, in which there is both suicide and singing and dancing. So it gave me courage to put some songs into Poultrygeist, Night of the Chicken Dead, which is a satirical, slapstick, political horror, whatever you want to call it,
Sure.
fast food and pro-Indian, it dealt with a fair number of American themes.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
But Takashi Miike, who was a big Troma fan and still is, I met him a couple of years ago again in Canada, and he has seen Terra Firma and Return to Nuke High, and he loved Return to Nuke High, which was the second half of that movie. He
Okay.
did see the first half, but he liked the second half a lot better. It's a lot more like he is, but also he gave me the courage when it came time for Poultrygeist to indeed put the songs in, which actually a lot of Troma fans don't like musicals. Maybe now they
Oh
do.
yeah.
Maybe.
Well, I'll tell you. So my experience with Poultrygeist actually was I went to a local theater, and it was when you were touring with it. I went to a local theater, and I picked up this bad boy here, signed by none only than yourself.
Wow. How did I?
Bam.
Somehow I was able to write my name backwards. How
You
did I
know,
do?
I'll tell you. You used your teeth when you wrote it. No, not really.
I can't believe I could write that. But I'm not Jewish. The Jewish people write backwards and upside down, so must be in
Any
my DNA.
yeah.
Or maybe because I'm watching a live video on.
Yeah, yeah. It'll flip around. It's from the camera, but yeah. So it kind of goes into my next question. With meeting you, one thing since just being aware of Troma myself and being aware of you and your work that I have always, that's always stuck with me is your hustle. Just over the years, your continuous push into, just constantly letting fans know what's next, letting fans do interviews, keeping, interactive with fans and such. What are some things or who are some people that you can credit as far as your, possibly even upbringing with, with how your hustle has just remained so strong all these years?
Wow, it's a very good question, but I guess I can't explain that. Other than necessity, I determined during college that I wanted to make movies, and I determined that I didn't want anybody telling me what to do. So if I'm going to do it by myself, and then starting in 1974 with Michael Hers and creating our own little movie studio, Troma Entertainment,
Mm-hmm.
hustle. And I think that's a good lesson. Read my book, distribute your own damn movie, because a lot of young artists, they don't want to sell. They think selling is, the merchant class, the bourgeois, they look down upon selling because,
Mm-hmm.
but they're stupid if they're trying to be independent. Because if you look at people like Picasso, he certainly promoted himself. Van Gogh didn't, and other than cutting his ear off, and he, of course, killed himself. James Gunn has made billions and billions of dollars,
Right.
and not he, but his movies have made billions of dollars, and he promotes himself very nicely very entertainingly,
Mm-hmm.
and I think he got that from me. He always makes that speech when I'm on his set about how he channels Lloyd Kaufman when he's directing even $200 million movies, because he realizes that it's up to the fans and up to his uh, studios that he wants to show he's a responsible director, and without the fans, none of us is going to last very long, and it's only because of our fans. And thank you, Mike. Where are you located?
I'm in Michigan.
Where?
Yep. I'm in the west side near Grand Rapids.
Nice, nice.
Yeah. So yeah.
Why is Michigan so outrageous and kind of free, open marriages? And It's they say it's a swinging state or something. What
They,
why is it so swinging?
there's a lot going on. There's a lot more swinging than one might think.
Well, you have a very attractive governor, so maybe that helps.
Yeah,
And,
I mean,
I've been to Detroit and Grand Rapids, and
mhm.
I've been all over Michigan because the theaters play our movies. At least if I direct one, I have to go. I sort of go there with it, make an event out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I met you at a place called the Harbor Theater. It was in
Yes,
Muskegon.
yes, that was great. I've been there twice. It's a wonderful
Yeah.
theater.
Okay.
Um,
Awesome. Awesome.
Excuse me
Great.
1 second. I've got a problem with the. Oops, sorry, just 1 second, please. You can keep talking.
That's all right.
The mosquitoes are eating me alive.
You gotta watch those bastards. You think Biggie would protect you a little bit, but you gotta use
Well,
some spray too.
I don't eat sweet stuff too much. It may be the cat tranquilizer or something. Jesus.
All right, so let me ask you my next question being, with all the movies that you've worked on all these years, do you have any sort of priceless items that you've kept from them that you have in a collection?
That's a very good question. No, usually certainly for the last 20 years or so, our crew and our actors have all been rabid Troma fans. The new movie, #Shakespeare Shitstorm, there's about 2,000 people. Every one of them was fans, so everything walks away, which is okay because we don't have any room for storage, unfortunately. So I don't really have much. My archives of paper are going to University of Oklahoma. Stan Lee set that up because his archives are there, and we were friends for more than 50 years. Wrote some scripts together. So there's
Right.
paper, stuff. I guess personal stuff that'll be there, but no props or anything. We really don't have much.
Okay. All right.
I mean, what's out there is all stuff. You could go on eBay. You'll find a lot of our special effects, which is
Yeah.
okay. Again, we have no room for it. So, and
Sure.
there's a museum in Las Vegas that has Toxie, and the guy who runs it did all was the head of special effects for the Poultrygeist movie. So I'll give you some light here. He has got a couple. He made a lot of stuff for Troma, and he has it on display. It's outside Las Vegas, in something I can't remember the name of the town. It's about a half hour outside Las Vegas.
Oh, okay. Wow, sweet. All right. And I got to ask, because my show, with me being the lo-fi horror guy, all right. So partially I talk about horror movies, and then another part of it, I get in contact with musicians and people and the heavy music world. And I had to ask about old Lemmy, all the years that you got to work with him.
Against who?
Old Lemmy Kilmster.
Yeah, Lemmy. Sure.
So let me ask you, what's your favorite role that he played in any of the movies?
Well, the most complicated role was, you want Lloyd Kaufman up front.
Oh my Lord!
It's Maker's Mark. This is it's a tribute to Lemmy. He turned me on to Maker's Mark, which goes through Uncle Lloyd's first pass.
Oh my
very,
God!
Orange, See the spirit of Lemmy in there. I do that.
Oh my God!
Now,
Dear Lord!
Clean, you see, I wash my hands.
This is
Very
good.
Clean, COVID clean, we call that.
COVID clean.
In the commissioner's household.
Oh my
They're in
Lord!
lockdown, so things aren't going too well.
Oh my God! All right, let me ask you if we had.
Lemmy was a good guy. I think the most he showed up one day right before we made the pre-production of Romeo and Juliet. So and he was a big fan. He So we thought, well, he's British, and Shakespeare was British. Let's go.
Sure.
Unfortunately, we gave Lemmy the most words in Troma.
Romeo and Juliet. Yeah.
You can't understand anything. But
Okay.
we did learn from that, and when you see him in subsequent movies, like Return to Nukem High and Return to Nukem High, President Lemmy has subtitles, so you can't miss it.
Right.
So
Right.
he didn't move his lips. When he talked, he didn't really move his lips very much. But a very generous guy. He never charged us a penny for any of it. The only thing we had to do was pick him up because he didn't drive, and everybody wanted to pick him up. You know, everybody wanted
Right. Yeah. It's Lemmy for
and
sure.
all he wanted was first it was a bottle of Jack Daniels and two Tromets to talk to, because waiting around is very boring when you're making a movie, especially 35 millimeter, which is what he started with us. And
Okay.
so it takes a long time to light a room. Then later on, he upped his demands to a bottle of Maker's Mark. And as a tribute to him, I have supported Maker's Mark very loyally. Not just loyally, but loyally.
Nice. Nice. So let me ask you, if old Lloyd was still with us and he actually, this November got voted in to be the actual president of the United States, what do you think his first move would be? What would be the first thing that he would do in office?
I'm sure he would take very strong, courageous steps to tax the 1% and make them pay. When I was a kid, the highest tax rate was 70%. 70. The highest is now nothing, right? The rich people pay nothing because of all the tax shelters.
Right.
All the benefits that the government gives to the giant mega conglomerates in the media, which helps them avoid taxes. The people on our level, there's nothing. They do nothing for us. Whereas Portugal, we just got half our budget for Mutant Blast from Portugal. And
Nice.
it's an American film in Portuguese language, directed by a Portuguese director. But hey, it's an American movie. Same with Canada. They give horror films money in Canada. Portugal, same thing, knowing that it was a Troma movie with blood and guts and whatever.
Right.
His government was proud. This country does nothing for you, other than help rich people. So when we settle for Biden, nothing will change.
Nothing's going to change, right? Right.
He's surrounded by lobbyists. No, he's not. He's doing what?
We will not have Trump on top of us, so that'll be a change.
Seems like the commissioner. Well, although we are very happy, the commissioner served 4 governors, 2 Republican and 3 Democratic and 1 Republican. She was appointed by the Republican, and the 3 Democrats kept her until she retired. Cuomo, her final boss, has done a wonderful job leading as a real leader, not afraid to say the truth, no lies. Too bad he didn't run.
Sure.
He, I think, would have the guts to, really do the changes that have to change.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would have been good.
I mean, we can have the commissioner have her get on and get into the presidency there.
Well, the commissioner, she's producing #Shakespeare. It's a miracle she didn't get fired during the Surf Nazis in the Sky, Blood-Sucking Freaks, Cannibal the Musical, just the titles. That shows you what a great job he did as commissioner. And New York, as a result of my wife's creating the incentive here, where if you make a movie in New York, it doesn't matter whether it's a low budget or high budget, you get a third of your budget back in cash. And she created that incentive, and which has been profitable for New York City and New York State. For New York State, 10 new studios have been built because there's so much work now in New York City. Because
it's awesome.
Work.
Yeah, Michigan tried doing that for a little bit, for like a year or so, and it didn't stick around very long. But that was the same thing. It was like a 3%.
That's right. Michigan had a well. Michigan's was two. Yeah, I was in one of our former employees made a movie that was shot, and I was in it in outside Detroit. And the problem is the deal was so sweet that the state was losing money.
Oh,
Where
right.
the New York deal is sweet, but the state makes money from the payroll taxes and sales taxes and vendors and obviously all the construction and everything that's going on here. And it's good for the filmmakers. It's
Sure.
fair and profitable to the state.
Okay. All right. So let's get into another craft of yours that you have, and you're also an author. You write some books. You have different things on how to sell movies, how to do different things in the category. But let me ask you this: if you could co-write a book with anybody out there, you have the choice. You've written with James Gunn, Adam Janke, Sarah Antle. If you could co-write a book right now with anybody, who would it be?
That's a good question. That's really interesting. I think I'm not too up to date on modern. I tell you, Nathaniel Hawthorne. He's a little bit
Okay.
passe, slightly passe, I would say. But who did the one who died recently? Her first book was. It could have been a Troma movie. I think it's called something about not blue eyes enough. My eyes aren't blue enough. Is that Toni Morrison? I think that would be cool.
Hmm.
A novel,
Okay.
a novel with her. I think that would be cool.
Okay.
She
All right.
definitely was into way beyond Troma themes. Right? I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
read that book. It's horrendous. I mean,
All
it's a
right.
great book. Great. I'm surprised nobody. I guess maybe it has been a movie, but if it hasn't, it's a perfect one for today. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar. I'll have to check. What is it called? Your eyes aren't blue enough?
Something like, yeah, something like not blue enough. And basically, she's a little girl, and again, I read this I think after college a long time ago, and she's tortured by the fact that she didn't have blue eyes, and all the other kids. The black kids are tilling the soil and the other kids are riding around in Pontiacs. So, it would have been it's a great novel for today as far as I can see because,
Sure.
I mean, I don't want to even, it deals with a lot of taboos also, a lot of the
Oh, okay.
hard scrabble life. And I don't remember it that well, but it certainly bears reading without a doubt, as
Yeah.
does Nathaniel Hawthorne. I mean, you'll see what a great wordsmith he was. I mean, and
Hmm.
very entertaining. Whereas
The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison.
that's it, something like that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Somebody just commented that. All right.
I can Google it. The Bluest Eyes. The commissioner
There it is. There it
says
is.
correct, and she said she
It's
read
got
it.
the seal stamped on it.
How many times do you read that book?
I've not read it.
Oh,
Should put it
the commissioner is currently reading Pests, by the way, a hot new book from.
Beautiful. Let's dig into hashtag Shakespeare shitstorm. All right. So in the trailer there, it states that it'll appear in at least 3 theaters. If I could ask you, what 3 theaters, if that was all that it could go in, what 3 theaters would you want your movie to air in?
Well, Lemley Theaters in Los Angeles are the official Troma theater chain, and
Sure.
they're very nice to us. Most of these so-called independent theater chains really exploit us, and they won't play a movie from Troma that I direct unless I come there and be a clown, which is okay as long as I'm given plenty of drugs and pot. So, and the commissioner goes with me to translate what I say. But in New York, the Film Noir cinema in New York for the past 2 years has been our official cinema in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. But I know they were trying to raise money to get through the COVID crisis and pay the rent so I don't know if they'll continue to exist after COVID, but it's an excellent little theater, and we have a very good relation with them. Uh,
Sure.
Other than that, there's maybe the Mahoning Drive-In in Pennsylvania, where we had the 20th Troma Dance. Great people,
Sweet.
great projection, great. We just had the 20th Troma Dance there, sold out for an entire weekend. We supported it with Mutant Blast and with Slashening, the end of the beginning, which is the second Slashening movie, and then all the
Okay.
movies were non-Troma movies, were bright, young, new filmmakers that Troma has identified. And, Troma Dance is our festival that we started as a stick in the eye to Redford and Sundance. And Trey Parker was the one who came up with the idea. And we
Oh,
moved.
okay.
We used to do it in Sundance for 10 years, the same place and the same time as Sundance. And it was a real, it became after 10 years a real festival. So we moved it to New York now, and well, actually this year it was in Mahoning, Pennsylvania, because it could only be, we needed a drive-in, and they have the best. I mean, it's beautiful projection. The sound is perfect. Great modern day. How do you say? Concession stand with the, more than just Snickers and dry popcorn.
Oh, okay.
Really great place, and people were there. They came Friday afternoon. There were about 100 tents. The place was full the whole weekend with cars and tents and cosplay. And I think if you can go on you'll see if you go on my Instagram. I think you can see some of the people came as Toxie. In fact, there was a whole group that relived the famous head crushing scene in the Toxic Avenger. They did it cosplay. They had a great special. They had the kid laying on the ground, and then they had the second stage where his head is squashed, and they had it like in the like a trip those dioramas in the Museum of Natural History. It was beautiful.
Wow.
It was up all
Wow.
week. And if you go to the concession stand at the Mahoning Drive-In, Virgil will show you that the Tromaville sign, the famous Tromaville sign, which was in Toxic Avenger, toxic waste capital of the world, has been reproduced, and it's in the concession shop of Mahoning. So I think those three theaters. Well, with Lemley, we usually get a couple of theaters for at least a couple of weeks, and
Okay.
they're great people. They're very nice people. Greg,
Okay.
he is descended from the people that founded Universal, the Lemleys. They were the ones who really established Universal Pictures as a major studio.
Oh, wow. Okay. I never knew that. Yeah, I'd love to see that too. And that was kind of going along with, locally when I was asking about, different restaurants too. I like to hear different, about different things just with traveling and checking out different places like that. That'd be awesome to visit.
Well, in L.A., of course, once a year, the commissioner and I do a pilgrimage to the Rainbow to confer with Lemmy and see if he
Hmm.
has something to tell us.
Hmm. Nice, nice. Yeah, I've got a buddy that went there, and he specifically went to the Rainbow, every night that he was there, just because of that.
Yeah,
That's awesome
we
too.
go at least once a year, just for
Okay.
Lemmy. Just for Lemmy. I mean,
All right.
Michael Hurst, my partner, and I used to go to the Rainbow 25, 30 years, maybe more than 30 years ago. And it was more colorful. It was much grubbier,
Yeah.
there and stuff like that. I mean, it was pretty old-fashioned Hollywood Boulevard crowd,
Sure,
and,
sure.
but now it's very civilized. And old people like me are in there, and old rockers, and it's a very lovely. I mean, it couldn't be nicer there, and the food has always been good.
Yeah.
That place, and there's another one that the commissioner and I like that has more about music people. It's across the street from the Formosa. Jones on wherever. Oh, God damn it! Flower. It's Santa Monica Boulevard or somewhere up there
Okay.
in East Hollywood, sort of West Hollywood.
Okay.
The Formosa, everybody knows that one, and Jones, I think people pretty well can't miss it. And you see all sorts of
Okay.
music.
Cool.
But the food is very good, and they're very nice, and they seem to usually the people up front know who I am, or have a vague Either that or they think I'm Mel Brooks, so they give us a decent table.
Either way, you go with it. Why not?
Sure.
Yeah. So let me ask you. We're talking about hashtag Shakespeare shitstorm. So tell me about some of the practical effects. What were some of your practical effects that you had to pull off for that one?
I don't want to be a spoiler, but
Well, yeah. I mean,
a
not I guess
lot of
not
them.
specifics, but
A hell of a lot of them, and they're very good by David, Eric Fox. Eric Fox, who was a big Hollywood guy, who took a tremendous pay cut in order to just like a little bit of Toxie here. So hey,
awesome.
sorry, Pat. Sorry. Did I do something bad? Did I break it? Oh, sorry. I just broke an antique as I came. Okay. Porcelain thing I just made. So, say that again. What were we talking about?
About practical effects in hashtag Shakespeare shitstorm.
Talk to him, Eric Fox, Fox Effects. I really don't want to reveal the stuff. You can see some of it in the theatrical trailer. Also, I think for the first time, we have used CGI, but usually we use it in a Brechtian, very self-conscious way, where it's obviously where the fun is that it is CGI. If you see
Sure.
Return to Nuke 'Em High, there is crazy CGI in it, but it's not to be realistic. Whereas in this movie, hashtag Shakespeare shitstorm, we have some really great CGI that people think is real. They honestly think it's real. And we had a guy who was a major big time guy who just happened to be a Troma fan, and he did us a favor, and then a younger guy who did the animation. There's animation in the movie, and also some CGI that he did, and unfortunately his name escapes me. It might come back to me. But we had actual, real, top quality. Hey, look what the that looks like Toxic.
Dear Lord, it's
carved out of metal.
It's like a Batman light. Yeah. Dear Lord, he's calling.
Fan-made, not necessarily man-made, but fan-made. Without our fans, be food for the worms.
Yeah.
I got to go because the commissioner has, unfortunately, I've got to go now. Can we maybe do another time? I apologize.
You know what? This has been perfectly amazing, Lloyd. We'll stay in touch, and if at any point, we'll get something going again. But thank you so much for the time you've allotted. I appreciate it, sir.
Well, thank you. And should you be in New York City, come and visit the Troma building. You meet a lot of nice people there, Eric. And please, if you see any theaters that would like to play either Mutant Blast or hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm, they're both going to be in theaters as soon as the theaters open. So if you see any, our fans are the ones who call up the theaters. We wouldn't have any theaters if it wasn't for the fans, calling for the movies. So
beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Will do.
And thank you to all the people who've watched. I appreciate it. It looks like a big audience, too.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yep. Well, thank you so much. You have a good night. Stay safe, Lloyd. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eric. And hello to Mike Gallo.
Yep.
I always know him so well. All right. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.